What's up, guys? I'm Roscoe M, and welcome to another episode of Twat Talk with Roscoe M Studios. And today I have my second interview guest that we've had on this podcast. As you guys remember, the first one was Casey, and today we have the lovely Babymates here with us. Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Doing good. Yourself?
I mean, it's another beautiful day here in Boston.
Ah, yeah. It's pretty good weather here as well. It's not bad.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's sunny for once.
Yeah,
So
we left the house and it was like a little drizzly and there was a thunderstorm and now it's like bright out. So, yeah.
yeah. Man, your weather changes like almost as much as ours.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah,
really, it just changes the seasons,
yeah,
but it keeps things light.
yeah. I
So,
guess. So, I guess we'll just go straight into the first question, which is your Twitch name. How did you choose your Twitch
cool.
name?
Yeah, so my Twitch name is Babymates.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of my independent background that I guess I started trying to launch when I was, I think like 2011 or so, because I was
Uh-huh.
like making clothing and usually making like special pieces for girls. Like, oh, I wish I had this kind of dress, and like, so
Mm-hmm.
Baby Mates name of what I would call my fashion brand because I thought it was cute and fun. The name comes from a nickname my now husband Tyler had for me. He
Mm-hmm.
used to say, "Oh, it's all good, mom." You heard it from what the Soldier Boy song "Crank That,"
Okay.
a classic,
A classic song,
classic
yeah.
one-hit wonder. Absolutely. So he thought they were saying, "I want some baby mates," but what it was actually saying is bathing apes, like bathing
Ah, yeah.
monkeys. So
Right,
I like it
okay.
better.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
the origin story. But like,
Ah, yeah, it is an interesting name because I'm like I never understood like I'm always curious on people's Twitch names like, oh, where does that come from? Because
hey, some people do like a play on their name. It's like a hobby or like a little cute like
yeah,
nickname. Like, because
yeah,
I kind of, even though it's the name I use, like I hope that the channel can be used by like other people than just
mm-hmm.
myself, because it's like supposed to represent the whole brand one day.
Yeah. That is an
Yeah.
interesting way
And
of
like no one
going
else
about
has
it.
it, so I don't have to add any fun numbers.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, luckily you don't need to add like numbers and stuff like that to it. Make it like baby
Exactly.
mates
It's
one
easy to
two three.
remember. Right. It's
uh
easy to remember.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Thank
I guess
you. I enjoy it.
yeah, I guess that goes into my next question. Why and when did you start like Twitch? Like Twitch
Hmm.
specifically.
Um,
So what's like
Honestly, the specific reason. Sorry?
I was gonna say like yeah, kinda like the origin story of like why Twitch, like out of everything that you
Yeah,
could have possibly done.
right. Um, Honestly, it was the fact that Twitch offers monetization for streaming, and
Mm-hmm.
because they had a very specific section for crafting. Unlike other
Ah,
platforms, it's all game based.
yeah.
So Twitch had the strongest audience, and they also had a dedicated section for crafting. So
Mm-hmm.
even if someone's not necessarily interested in what I do specifically, at least they'll see me there and it's like, oh, let's check her out, as
Yeah.
opposed to being on a gaming platform that probably few people would be interested in clicking on anyway. And the reason I started is because I already kind of spend up to 8 hours a day in my sewing room by myself, just
Mm-hmm.
like sewing. And I
Yeah.
thought, okay, well, it would be nice to have that interaction with people if they want to watch and like, hey, like I'll buy something from your shop and then I can watch you make it. I can watch you go through the
Ah,
process
yeah.
of, hand making it, right? And
Yeah.
uh and I get the added benefit of um what was I thinking for? Oh, yeah, I'm already doing it anyway. So
Yeah.
why not just turn a camera on? And if somebody wants to learn from me, I can answer questions or I can show techniques, and you know,
Mm.
it's just kind of like I call it like Bill Nye, but like for sewing, like Martha Stewart, Bill Nye meets Martha Stewart kind of thing.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, so like people can either
Yeah.
come and be entertained by what you're doing, or they can learn from it, or if they're going to buy something from you, yeah, they can see what goes into it.
Exactly. That's what I try to offer. Try to show like this is how I do photo shoots in my in my room by
Hmm.
myself with the tripod.
Yeah.
This is how I design pieces. This is how I select pattern. Yeah.
Yeah, it
So
is.
the community has
I was gonna say that definitely is like an interesting like Twitch story, because most people it's like, oh, I spent a lot of time playing games and like I thought, hey, I might as well just try this out. But it's interesting that you're using it kind of as like entertainment, but also like in a slight way, it's also promotion as well, because you can also
yeah.
kind of like show that yeah, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, definitely. And it motivates me to keep going. Where
Yeah.
like in other cases where I get stuck, I'm like, well, I'm going to take a 2 hour break. It's like, no, just
Hmm.
sit and work through it, and like having that pressure of like people watching and wanting to see it, carry through.
Yeah. And I
Yeah,
also see that
it's been
also you don't just stream like your crafts and things like that. You also stream games at times as well.
sure. Yeah, I like to game, so it's kind of like a reward for me
Hmm.
every now and then, and I just like to hop on and bop around on a game and
Yeah.
be silly, of course. Yeah, so I
Yeah.
offer a little variety.
Yeah. So you get like the two kind of sides of Twitch there as well. Interesting. That definitely is like an interesting story to
Exactly.
hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Thank
the
you. Yeah.
yeah. The next question is: who are some of your inspirations in terms of either your crafts or in terms of Twitch or just really anything?
Yeah. Oh, well, I would say the first inspiration is Betsy Johnson, which is a fashion designer from New York
Mm-hmm.
that has had like decades of success in the fashion industry and used to work for her. But her clothing has been very inspirational for me because the stuff I like to create is very like a little over the top. It's not like everyday wear. It's like
Mm-hmm.
dresses and like fancy corsets and stuff with a lot of detail. And her style is very to 11 as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like every day can be a party. You can change
Yeah.
your outfit to change your mood. Yeah, especially like, I still, even though I leave the house, I still enjoy the process of doing my makeup and getting
Mm-hmm.
dressed up cute and taking photos because it's something that helps me feel it's for my own mental health. And I meet girls that are like, oh, that's so cool, but I could never do that. It's like, you can, girl. Like that
Yeah.
was first fashion inspiration for me.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as like kind of channel that I want to create, I kind of think to like kind of like DIY punk bands and punk radio kind of like
Okay.
where it doesn't exist, so I'm just going to create it. I'm just going to go for it.
Yeah.
Kind of the kind of content that I want a little different. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's like informational but also entertaining, and it's also like I want it to be collaborative hopefully when this pandemic can clear up and I can have
Yeah.
people in my studio with me, you
Yeah, when
know.
the world finally gets back to some normality.
That would be nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely would be nice if it would like hurry up. But
Yeah, I mean, it's been interesting to see how it allows us to refocus ourselves and
oh
like
yeah.
what's really important to me and like how I want to fill my 8 hours a day, you
Mm-hmm.
know? It's been interesting, and I think, it's I think a lot more people are going to be pursuing things that they actually enjoy doing, I hope.
Yeah. I know for
Find
me
joy back
the
in their life again.
yeah. I know for me that this whole situation has definitely been like a kind of a time for me to let myself grow, like let myself grow a little bit
Yeah.
in terms of like
Yeah.
beforehand. I didn't really have much of like a hold on my anxiety. It was kind of a little bit out of control at times. And I know that like over
Yeah,
the course of this, I've kind of gotten more of a handle on it, and I can sort of deal with it a lot better now. And then also,
that's awesome.
over the course of this, I've been trying to go for Twitch affiliate, which I'm so close. I'm literally like 0.12 average viewers away.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's like so close, and I feel like I'll probably get there like in a short amount of time now. And
Absolutely, you will.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I think I'm gonna be streaming on late. I think I'm gonna be streaming later on today. So
Hell yeah.
so yeah, just trying to get
And you
like
like
that
to
last bit. Yeah, and it's definitely
grind
kept.
and keep
Yeah,
trying different things. That's like your style. Sorry.
mm-hmm. It's definitely kept me motivated to like keep streaming because I'm like, oh, I could do this, and it's made me like improve my setup and stuff like that as well. Like beforehand, I used to just have the game and a face cam, and now I have like like a whole intro
Hmm.
and things like that, and a countdown timer, and I've got like a follower
Nice.
goal, and and it's allowed me to improve the setup a whole lot. Um,
Awesome.
yeah, and this year was kind of the year that I'm like, okay, this is the year that I take streaming a little more seriously than I did. Like this is the time where I
Right.
get into streaming.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. You
because
shoot your shot,
yeah,
and just go for it.
yeah,
Hmm.
definitely. Because I was already planning on like playing games during all of this, but I thought, hey, like if I'm gonna be playing these single player games where I'm just gonna be sitting on my own, I might as well do it on Twitch and like just
Hmm.
have some interaction. And I know what I'm gonna do to celebrate like affiliate when I have it.
Definitely.
I'm gonna be playing like the first game that I played on Twitch when I started taking it seriously. I'm just gonna play it all in one sitting as like a celebration. Like this is the first game I played. I'm gonna play it again.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely gonna be
And
like a
how was
fun
it?
stream. Oh, it was actually pretty good to like have the kind of social aspect of it because I'm playing single
Right.
player games where I'm like I'm just playing this on my own, but like talking to chat is like one of the best parts for me.
Absolutely. It's a
I
game changer.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I always love interacting with chat no matter what game I'm playing. Like I am on top of
Hmm.
chat because I want to be. I want to know like I want to like have a connection with people so that they feel like they kind of know me. They're not just like a viewer.
Right.
It's like you're not just a viewer, you're a friend. Like that kind of thing going on.
Exactly.
Yeah, like I love to have
And
that.
very please go ahead.
Oh no, that's like the end of my thing now.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with how friendly everyone on Twitch is.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I tell people like, "Oh, I stream," and then they're like, "Really? Like, is it like are people like people are actually lovely." I've like had barely
Yeah.
any negative experiences with people in chat because I feel like it's so crowded with content that you're not going to go out of your way to bother somebody. You're going to look for, people you
Mhm.
actually enjoy.
Yeah. I like the aspect of Twitch. It's like I guess you could put this to like my YouTube channel as well. Like I love the
Yeah.
fact that I can like the content that I put out, people can't, for example, like just judge me based on only how I look. Because if they come in, they watch a
Mm,
little bit, they get at least like a snippet of what I'm like. And
right.
if they vibe with it, then they stay. If they don't, they can click off. It's like you don't have to leave
Ex-
anything like too hateful. You can just like go away. It's not your cup of tea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And find people that want to keep coming back and like be
Hmm.
active in chat and like make it really special.
Yeah. Because I find that like I've kind of gotten into a groove of like my community and the people that come around a lot. I'm
Hmm.
like, yeah, and I start to have that connection with them where like, hey, I remember you. You were here like in these streams, and stuff like that.
Yeah. So that's the only the people come like and or they haven't been back in a while and you remember stuff about them and they're excited. Like that's the
Hmm.
best.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I love when streamers do that stuff for like, say you've not been in their chat for like, I don't know, let's say like a couple weeks, and then like you come back
Hmm.
and they kind of go, "Oh my god, I remember you." Like I love that.
Yeah.
So I always try and keep
Yeah.
track of like, I always at least remember, if I don't remember anything necessarily about them, I'm like, I've definitely seen your name before. Just like give me a quick reminder.
Right.
Yeah, so I like
Yeah,
to.
that's how I hmm
I was gonna say I like to try and keep track of who's been in chat before, just for that like sole reason of that interaction.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I found I got in touch with Casey again. Like I just said I saw that she was streaming after I had been gone from streaming for I would say about nearly a year.
Mhm.
And I just said hey in the chat and her reaction was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like she
Yeah.
remembered me and like to see not only that she had picked up streaming again, but she also built like a really strong community around her. She was affiliate and like had all these
Oh yeah.
people that were in her chat and like
Yeah.
just I was so like, "Oh my gosh, she remembered me too." It was like
Mhm. I
felt
would
really,
say
really nice.
yeah, I would say that Casey has like a sizable audience, but every connection is like a little bit personal, and she has that audience. She
Totally.
has like just the right amount of audience where she gets a lot of people like constantly interacting in chat, but she can keep
Yep,
track of people as well. Like she knows
it's
who they are.
true.
You know, she's got
Yeah,
that
and
good
she
size
asked,
audience.
yeah, she just has positivity that you can really feel.
Oh
And she
yeah,
asks good
every single
questions,
stream, yeah,
people. She's, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So those kinds of channels that I like to follow and I like
Mhm.
to keep in touch with. And it's
Yeah.
just, it's such surprising, like how positive the community on whole is.
Yeah. It's
Pleasantly surprising.
yeah, you'd think with like Twitch being predominantly a gaming platform, you'd get quite a lot of toxic people, but I've rarely had any
Mm,
experiences with them.
that's good.
Yeah, like I've never had anyone that's like
Awesome.
properly toxic come into my chat, which is a good thing.
Yeah,
Because it's like, well,
totally.
it keeps the kind
Yeah,
of vibe upbeat, and I don't have to get annoyed and then be like, you know, slightly aggressive for the rest of the stream.
right, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not annoyed for like the rest of it. Just be like, oh god, I can't believe that guy came in. Like, so I guess I've been pretty lucky with who has popped into my streams.
That's
Uh,
awesome. I've had
yeah.
like a couple of weirdos, but usually that like I kind of joke and laugh. As like a joke. I keep it
Mm-hmm.
in my bottom drawer. So if when the chat like gets mad, I pull out the Bible. Just start sit there and reading, ignoring everyone. It's like I can do this all day. Y'all can just leave. Come on.
Yeah, that's that's actually a really
I like
creative
to
way of
have fun.
dealing with it. I've never thought of like doing something just completely out of the blue like that. Like, oh, someone's
Oh
toxic
yeah,
in chat. I'm gonna read the Bible. I've never thought of something like that.
exactly.
And
That's
that's
the that's the kind of reputation I want to.
yeah, that's like a really
Got to
good way
think
to do it.
outside the box. There's a lot
Yeah,
of there's a lot of people on Twitch. Yeah, of.
yeah. So my next question is, what is your favorite aspect of streaming?
um, I there's a lot of things I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that we've talked about how chat is a big part of it,
Yeah.
and talked about I want to be collaborative and work with other people.
Mm-hmm.
How it helps me to like stay on track and keep moving with, when I get stuck in a project,
Mm-hmm.
and how it helps promote my business. Aside from all that, I just
Yeah.
really like entertaining and being goofy and silly and having where it's
Mm-hmm.
like my space to do what I feel like doing. Like one of the early videos I did. People joined because again early on I did sewing a wedding dress and
Right.
I was wearing my wedding dress. It
Like while doing it.
was like So like the whole video, like me trying to like maneuver around my sewing space, like trying to iron and like lay out fabric and drape all while I'm like in this big poof poof at the same time.
Yeah. I can imagine
Yeah.
that. I can imagine that
So
would be equally frustrating and entertaining for the audience.
it was it was entertaining, a little warm, but it's like I like doing silly stuff like that to try to
Yeah.
think like how can I make this is fun, but how can I go another level
Hmm.
and make it like extra like what should I do this time? What should you gonna do today?
Yeah. So you're always keeping the
Yeah.
audience guessing on what the hell is gonna happen next.
I I try to think like if I would change, what would I want to see her do? I
Yeah.
sometimes I watch YouTubers. I'm like, damn, I wish they would try this or do this,
Hmm.
more. Or this is my favorite thing that they do. Like
Hmm.
that's what I try to think.
Yeah, and you can take that
Because
on board and
why not?
say
I
that's
have
what I'm going to do.
yeah, fully.
Yeah. I
Like
always try
I
and
want to.
like. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I always try and with my kind of content that I typically make on YouTube, it's difficult to stand out, like difficult to
Hmm.
stand out, but also kind of what makes it different to everyone else is like either my editing style or the personalities
Hmm.
that I have in my videos. Because obviously, you get
Right.
these like friend groups where it's like, oh yeah, they're always like laughing and joking with each other, but every friend group will have different like in jokes and like different ways that they tell jokes. So
Exactly.
I feel like that's what makes kind of my stuff different, and then also the fact that because I'm not like massive and I don't get monetized anyway, I don't have that fear of,
Hmm.
oh, what if my video gets like demonetized, or what if it get hit with
Mm.
a claim and I need to give the money from the video to someone else. I don't have that issue.
Mm.
So I feel like
Good.
that gives me a kind of a way of freedom with my channel, that I'm like,
Hmm.
I can basically post what I would want to see,
Right.
because my sense
Yeah.
of
You have
humor is typically like very dark and edgy, and it leads into like some not very PC topics.
yeah.
So I feel like with the not having to worry about, oh, what if I get demonetized for that joke, it gives me the freedom to be like, that joke was funny, I'll keep that in.
Yeah.
Yeah, there has been
Yeah.
some stuff
You're not.
before where I've had to like cut it because it's like, okay, that went a bit far.
Hmm.
Like I think in one of my jokes, uh, not one that I said, but one of my friends said a joke and like the N word slipped out, and I'm like, oh god, I have to censor that.
Hey yo.
Like I didn't take it out because I'm like, okay, the joke was funny, but like I have to censor
Hmm.
that at least. So like,
Right.
I do moderate it to an extent.
Yeah, you have to. Like being on camera has been such an education for me because, you know, in addition to what I talk about, like just the things that pop in your head, being on, being you see like I wrote a lot or I'm sitting in a weird position. It's been a real
Yeah.
education for kinds of words I use, like how I
Mhm.
phrase things, how my posture, that I present myself. Like sometimes I look up, I'm like, I am like balled up in the corner here. Like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
stop straight, stretch, because
Yeah.
with sewing, you got to be like up close to the fabric. So I'm like,
Mhm.
grandma, like 2 inches eyeball. Um, but yeah, it's been a real education, and through that, through the conversations that come up, through the people that like repeat, it's like, okay, now I know I can do it. What do I want to? What is like the kind of like conversations I want to foster,
Yeah.
if
I
that makes
try
sense.
yeah, I try to keep the conversation positive most of the time,
Right.
and
Hmm.
I try not to go down like rabbit holes of discussions about like more personal stuff, because I don't really want to
Hmm.
present that. Like I basically don't want to air all of my like personal life on camera. So
Yeah.
I try to have the connection where it's like you feel like you know me, but I'm not telling you everything.
Right.
And I
And
feel
that's
that, like, at least for me, this
hmm
podcast is like a place where I can be a little more open because it's just a discussion. It's not like, oh, I'm trying, like, this is a video of like funny stuff that happens. This is a playthrough of this game. No, this is just discussions.
Right.
So like this podcast can go wherever. Like it can be a really stupid episode,
Mhm.
or we can talk about something a little more serious.
No, it's we're not scared.
Sorry, I didn't quite like catch that. It lagged a little.
Yeah. I was just saying, it's your space, like, and I'm not scared. Big
Oh, why
way to.
is why is the audio all bugging out? The hell? Hear you if you're.
Oh, hi.
Oh, there we
I
go.
can. Okay.
And we're
My
back.
bad.
It's all good. Don't worry.
Sorry about
It's fine. So I guess I get.
starting to say is yeah.
I was gonna say since I can't remember where that conversation left off. I guess I'll move on to the next question. Um, which is like what got you into? I guess I could say like what got you into games and what got you into like crafts and stuff like that. Is it bugged again?
Our windows, but that was and so then as an adult, my husband had an Xbox and I would play against him a little bit. And whenever he would buy a game and couldn't figure it out or got frustrated with it, I would pick it up and just like tinker with it. So I've played like Last of Us, I played some Assassin's Creed, I've played Red Dead 2 because like he was like, "Ah, I can't figure it out."
Okay.
So I enjoy games that are like kind of adventure games or games that have a mix of like puzzles and shooting and like different things to offer.
Yeah. Um,
It's it,
hold on.
mhm.
I was gonna say I'm having audio issues on my end.
Oh no,
So I heard like what got into games. Could you maybe like start on like the crafts? Like what got you into crafts
for
and
sure.
okay.
For sure. So, as far as sewing goes, I started learning to sew when I was about 7. My
Uh
mom
huh.
sews. Both of my grandmas have always been, handsy. I guess
Mhm.
that's a good way to describe it. And so I've always kind of knew how to do it, but I took more of an interest around the age of 18 when I started to like modify my own clothing and
Okay.
then start to make things that I really like. And then from there, I was like, oh, I should try to sell some of my things. And
Mhm.
I prefer like sewing over other crafts. I don't know why specific. Maybe it's the fabric is more inspiring.
Okay.
And but I also do like embroidery. I do a little bit of knitting. I like to
Mhm.
paint and draw and doodle and like many hobbies.
Mhm.
But sewing's the one that I think is the most rewarding for me, at least.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was gonna say with like you said you started like kind of changing your own clothes. Like,
Hmm.
can you give us like an example of like stuff that you would change?
Oh yeah, like cut up band t-shirts, either make them tighter or make them all shredded.
Mhm.
I would like paint on my jeans or, distress them or make like cut off pieces of one t-shirt and sew it onto a jacket or sew it onto something else. Um, Taking dresses from the thrift store, like old
Mhm.
bridesmaid dresses and cutting them up and doing something crazy with them.
Mhm.
Just to kind of like get comfortable with the machine and like what would happen if I do this and what would it look
Yeah.
like if I put this over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like kind of
And
trial and error
I never
to
and it went
figure it out.
fully fully. Like I never went to college or like sewing school of any
Mm-hmm.
kind. So it's I'm all self-taught. I'm all just like, yeah, let's just try
Ah,
it.
yeah.
Let's just see what happens if. Yeah. That's how I've done a lot of things in my life. Just like, yeah, I'll just try it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. I guess it's
Whatever.
a similar
Yeah.
story with me in like video editing. I've gotten like pretty
Yeah.
good at it, but I like you with like sewing and stuff. I'm entirely self-taught.
Mm. Yeah.
Like I did, I just look up tutorials of stuff like when I need it, when I think, oh, I want to do
Mm-hmm.
this effect. How do I do it? Instead of sitting through like a 45 to like 3 hour
Mm.
tutorial video and here's everything you can do with this software. Just do like bits and pieces when you need it. Like, oh, how
Exactly.
do I keyframe? How do I add this effect on top of this? Stuff like that.
Right. And how satisfying it is when like you imagine something and you're able to like physically make it happen.
Oh yeah, I find that really satisfying when I think of like a certain effect.
Yeah.
For me, it's like a
Mm-hmm.
certain effect or like a certain thing with text. Like one thing that I did was I really wanted to track it over people's heads so that it would move with them, and I've managed to do
Ooh.
that in like a couple videos, and it's so satisfying when it like looks just right, that it's
Yes.
perfectly in sync with them moving. I'm like, that's
Oh
that's
yeah.
perfect.
That's it.
Yeah, like that's the one. And I
Yeah.
and I can imagine
I've
it'd be
done
a
like
similar
edit.
process. Like if you're like making clothes, it would be like thinking,
Mm-hmm.
oh, what do I want this to look like, and then it comes out just the way you wanted it to.
Oh my gosh.
I can
It's
imagine that would
so
be a very
so good.
satisfying feeling.
Because you sew things like, oh, so good. Because like you sew things wrong sides together. So I'm sewing the insides, right? So I'm seeing the inside of the garment, and then you have to
Hmm.
flip it right side out. You have to turn it out. So when you turn it out and it's just right, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
it feels so good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like, oh, that
I've
came out
done a little photo
perfect.
of the, yeah. Like, well, I'm done for the day. Just like, I'm out. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
You've been great. Um, I've done editing things like for little videos and stuff, and I've done one effect that's just so good that I'm like, oh my
Hmm.
gosh, I have to watch it like 4 more times in a row because it's just
Yeah.
this. I've created art today.
Yeah.
It's a good
Uh,
feeling,
yeah. You also said you do.
and I think everyone should feel that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, hell yeah,
Yeah. You also say you
it carries
do
over.
like photo shoots and stuff. Are you self-taught with that, or
Oh
did you
yeah,
do like some schooling with photography?
none at all, none. I've just I set up the little camera. I know where the good light is in my apartment,
Mm-hmm.
and I plop myself in front of the window. And I like to go heavy on the post edits as
Ah,
far as
yeah.
like the background and stuff and adding
Mm-hmm.
stickers and goofy stuff, like letting it be a fantasy. I kind of
Mm-hmm.
like for my for my like artistic shots. I like to kind of picture like, okay, this is in a skateboard magazine, or this is in like alternative press magazine, like or rock
Yeah,
sound
yeah.
magazine. Love that magazine. Like, how would it look like in the pages of a magazine like that? Like, how would it be like edited or styled in a certain way?
Mm-hmm.
Because my green background wall isn't as exciting. But
Yeah.
yeah, I have like a little camera, just my phone. I just use my phone, and I have
Ah.
a tripod now. I have like the little clicker thing, which I
Mm-hmm.
always lose right before I'm trying to do a shoot. Always, never
Every single
fails.
time.
Every time I'll put it in this spot so I remember for next time, and then I go
Mm-hmm.
and it's not there, and then I find it like the next morning in like a very obvious place, and it's very upsetting.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah, yeah. But
oh
it
the
just
pain.
just goof around with the camera. Yeah,
The pain in that
like
description.
oh, for real. And you can tell like either my arm is stretching way out because I'm pressing the timer, or it's like
Mm-hmm.
just almost right. If she had just moved over 1 inch, like you could tell, but
Yeah, but
these
obviously
things
it's a
happen.
rush to get into position.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely way easier with the remote. So I recommend investing in a little tripod or a phone stand and a
Mm-hmm.
remote clicker, and you can get some great pictures. And it's just great to also practice it for yourself, to know your
Mm-hmm.
own angles and to know your own like the good lighting and all that good stuff. Because like
Yeah.
what I do isn't extraordinary or unusual. It's just I've practiced it a lot. Practiced
Yeah.
it over many years. Like taught myself how to do makeup. I taught myself how to like sew clothing. And I think especially with sewing, like it can be very intimidating because people will be like, "Then my machine broke." And I'm like, "Honey, I've been sewing for over 10 years. My machine breaks. My yep. My machine
Yeah.
breaks consistently with every project. Like it's part of the process.
Yeah,
Like
it's
sewing
like
can be
this is just
very
part of what I
frustrating.
do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And getting over that hump of like, oh, like I can't do this. I can't do this. It's like no, you just got
Mhm.
to keep sitting with it. And I think people seeing my frustration at times, one of
Mhm.
my one of my video titles like she will not cry in it because like I knew that I was going to be doing a technique that is a lot of trial and error. And sure enough, there was a
Yeah.
lot of trial and error, but like we eventually got there.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like just breaking down that like it's okay to just try it. It's okay to do a photo shoot in your room. It's okay to put a ton of edits on it so you look
Mhm.
different. Like if that's what you like to do, just have fun with it. It's like whatever, who cares? You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
the vibe.
Yeah. Definitely. Like with me,
Yeah.
with like the stuff I do, I work
Hmm.
on a thing of like I I never know what my final project will look like, but
Hmm.
because I kind of with video editing, it's kind of like I do it as a um like make it up as you go type thing.
Yeah.
So I never think to myself, okay, this is what the title is going to be. This is what has to be in it. No, the title
Right.
matches what the final product is because I do all that afterwards.
Yes.
So I think so. I do the whole video and I think, okay, what is kind of like a predominant thing throughout this video? This,
Hmm.
and then like that's my title. Like
Yeah.
after I watch it through, and I never think of like, oh, I could do this effect and then this effect. No, I do it like as I'm going, like whatever effect and
Right.
whatever thing matches the mood of that specific moment. Like
Right.
a specific
Definitely.
example that I can think of is I never thought I would. Like one of my friends told like a really stupid pun. Like there was a skeleton sitting in the corner, and he said, "Oh, look at this guy, he's bone dry." And then I never thought of this effect ever. I just had the screen like slowly zoom in on the skeleton and get more and more red as if I was just getting like the music was kind of like like you know that like kind of background music. It's like dun 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 dun, like that kind of background music. But slowly it just got like
Yeah.
louder and louder as it zoomed in more and more, and I just came up with that effect like on the spot, just like, oh, that effect, like that would be a really funny thing to add to that.
Yeah.
I
And
always
in
just
your
come up with it
style
as I
like
go.
develops through it.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah. And then the more you do that, the more you're like, okay, this is my kind of joke. This is my kind of humor
yeah.
or my style of editing. These are the,
Oh,
yeah,
definitely. My
that's
style of
awesome.
editing is
I love it.
very
The organic ones are always the best.
oh yeah. My style of editing is very minimalist and simplistic. I don't go like too over the top with effects.
Nice.
I never do anything that's everything I do has like some kind of meaning behind it or it adds something.
Hmm.
I don't do stuff like I
Right.
don't add like in images and videos and stuff just for the sake of having them in. Like
It
everything
can be
in the
distracting.
yeah, everything I do in the
Yeah.
video, I always think to myself like, what purpose does this serve? What does this add? Like what does
Yes.
this sound add to the joke?
Yes.
Like the perfect
Right.
example that I think of for that was playing Rainbow Six Siege and one of them peeked the window as I peeked it as well. So we both kind of
Oh.
seen each other and I shot him, but I added in like a small freeze frame and just that like it was at this moment he knew he up like right before I shot him. And like I just added that in because I thought that would just add to this moment. It's like the
Yep.
perfect joke for that what just happened.
Exactly.
So like, I just like I said, I just make it up as I go along because that's like the easiest way to do it.
Right. Right. And I like that you don't overdo it
Nah.
on the like the effects because it can be a crutch. You know,
Oh, definitely.
like if all the humor isn't coming from you, it's coming from like outside things, then it's
Mm-hmm.
like, well, anyone can do that. Like you're
Yeah.
offering like yourself. In addition, it's like it's just like the rest is a bonus,
Yeah.
I
I've
feel
I've said
like.
I've said this
Yeah.
in like videos before. Like you can
Mm.
take the most unfunny clip and add all of the effects and like memes and stuff that you
Yeah.
want, and it's still not
Yeah.
going to be funny. Right? Like if a joke's
Right.
like everything that you add to it should be in service of the joke. It should never substitute the joke.
Absolutely.
And that's the way that I
Right.
always look at it. Like
Yeah.
you can't make something funny. It has to already
Hmm.
have some sort of humor in it, and you're just adding.
Yeah.
And that's just the way that
Exactly.
I've always looked at it.
Definitely. I think that is the smart way to look at it because through that, you'll be able to like recognize when you can push it a little more
Mm-hmm.
and when like, okay, like I don't need all this. I don't need
Yeah.
all of this to make my video interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of the time, like a couple of my clips in my videos, people who watch like consistently will know this. Like
Mm.
sometimes I leave in clips with like that are just funny on their own. Like there's nothing to add to it.
Yeah.
There's no subtitles, there's no effects. No, the clip just stands on its own.
Yeah.
Like this is a good enough clip on its
Yeah.
own.
Yeah. And that's a sign of a good streamer.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
yeah, it's definitely one of those things that's like um yeah, like don't overdo it. Because I see
Right. Yeah.
so many other YouTubers overdoing like the effects. I'm like, you don't need to add
Mm.
all of that. You could cut
Right.
so much of that, like so much of those effects
Right.
out, and it would still be like just as good.
Right. I think that I would be more likely to click on a video that was like 1 minute of like really poppin' jokes over like 45
Yeah.
minute, like just watching. We're like, oh,
Hmm.
like, all right, what's next? Like,
Yeah.
I would rather just get to the quality.
I like to separate
And
my
yeah,
I like to separate my videos into like two distinct styles. I have like my highly
yeah,
edited, you know, everything cut down to like even just a couple seconds videos, and then I have like let's plays which go on for like 45 minutes
mm,
to an hour each
right,
episode. So I have like
right,
long, you know, so if people want a longer video on like games that need it, then yes. If they just
right.
want like a quick laugh, you can have that as well.
Exactly. And it's a lot easier to share on Twitter.
Yeah, I actually don't do
Yeah.
much sharing on Twitter, but I probably should. I should
Yeah.
be more active on there.
Eh,
Especially given the
you
fact that
can.
I have like my own account, and then also like me and my friends have started up like a kind of team, I guess, and that has a
Sweet.
Twitter account.
Awesome.
So,
Yeah,
and I gave like him access to it because I'm like, hey, we're both part of this. We should both have access to the Twitter.
totally.
Yeah, so it's definitely been fun. It's been a cool thing to see, and I can imagine that
Right.
if I push this whole team thing a little more, it could potentially go somewhere.
For sure.
Because
Yeah.
I could see it becoming like a brand on top of me already having kind of a slight brand to myself.
That's the dream.
So like me and my friend could
Straight
yeah,
up.
so like me and my friends are like, oh, we're individual content creators coming together as a group to
Yeah,
make this funnier and make it better for the
exactly.
people watching.
Right. I feel like Twitch is like the cocktail lounge for people that, don't get to leave the house as often. So that's like
Ooh.
these are their bros. Like these are
Yeah.
your friends that you hang out with when you're home alone. And like I really like that. I really
I've
think
never
that's
thought about it
such
that
a
way,
cool
but
concept.
I
Yeah.
understand that. Like, yeah, it makes so much
Mm-hmm.
sense. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, like a lot of the people that I've met and really connected with has been online. I don't know,
it's
I
true.
connect with very little people. Like, I don't properly connect with people in real life, I feel, or like a lot of people.
I know what you mean.
But like
Yeah, I know
online,
what
I
you
can
mean.
find people who are like just as niche as I am. So I can like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I can vibe with this person.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, like
Yeah.
when you're at the mall or something, or like back when we went to the malls, but you'd see someone across the room be like, "Oh, their shirt's cool." Like, yeah, like
Uh huh.
we would be bros. Like that's kind of what I feel like the internet, or at least Twitch, has done for us, where it's like we're all connected now. We
Mhm.
don't have to be alone anymore. Like we can all like still have companionship and have meaningful relationships over just like hanging out and playing video games. Like, and
Yeah.
that's like it's great for people with anxiety because you can
Mhm.
control like when you need to step away or when you feel like overwhelmed, but like you also want to
Yeah.
like
Definitely.
hop into the chat and like feel like you're part of the conversation and like
Yeah.
I love that, but it, day to day, like in my town, how many people do I come across that are interested in the same things I am, or like want to do streaming or want to play video games and just
Yeah.
like chill? It's not as common. And I
Mhm.
bet in smaller towns, like I'm lucky enough to be born in a city, there's lots of activities happening. But I think about people like even in the US, like the Midwest or, in parts all over the world where it's just a lot more isolated, but
Yeah.
they still have these interests, yeah, that we all share.
Yeah. I can definitely
Yeah,
see
man.
that. Like the internet can be a place for people who like maybe not a lot goes on around them, so they can be like, "Oh, there's stuff going on all the time here."
Right. Yeah.
Like whenever they need, like a quick laugh, you can throw on a couple YouTube videos or like watch a stream if someone's live and feel like you're having meaningful social interaction.
Definitely.
And it's
Yeah,
not just,
even
yeah, I'm
like
sat here in my room bored, alone, doing nothing.
mm-hmm.
Like you can properly
Yeah,
connect with people.
for sure. Even just like say, "Oh, hi, thank you for joining." Like
Yeah.
that's like, "Oh, thank you." Like it
hmm
feels really good.
Even
Yeah.
I've also found that a lot of people near me and like in my kind of
Mm-hmm.
local area aren't interested in like
Mm-hmm.
content creation.
Yeah,
And I find that the internet allows me to obviously connect with so many other content creators.
exactly.
Like for example, obviously I've hopped into your stream, I've been in Casey's streams, I've been in Allison's,
Hmm.
like just
Yeah.
a whole bunch of people who are all interested in similar stuff, but we also have the common goal of we want to make people happier. We want to add something to people's lives,
Yeah.
even if
We
it's
want to
just
share
like
of
a distraction.
ourselves. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
We're willing to share our time with others,
Yeah.
and I like to share my art with others and share
Mm-hmm.
like, um, you know, what I do and what I have to offer. Like I feel driven to share that with people other than myself.
Mm-hmm. Because I've always been the type of person that, like, if I make something, I want to show it to
Hmm.
people, and I feel like
Yeah.
with me making a video, it goes out there and people can leave feedback, and I love it.
Oh,
And then
awesome.
obviously with streaming, I can get stuff like in the moment,
Hmm.
which is like even better for me because I want to always be improving. I don't want to ever come to like a standstill where I'm like, okay, this is all I can do.
Sure. Right.
Because I feel
Yeah.
like, at least for now, I still haven't like plateaued. Like I haven't
Hmm.
found
Yeah.
my point where I'm like, okay, I can't do any more. I can always
Yeah.
still do more,
Sure. Right.
which is like something that
Definitely.
definitely keeps me motivated, knowing, oh, I could still be improving.
Yeah, for sure. There's more you
Mm-hmm.
can improve, and then there's more that you can. It's all practice. I look at it like
Yeah.
it's all practicing the skill. Even if you spend like 6 months doing the wrong thing, at least it's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I've explored this to the fullest amount that I can, and it's not working. So I know
Yeah.
that I can confidently let it go, put it down, and try something else
Yeah.
that will be a little bit more successful,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully.
I know for me, it took me
You
like,
know,
how long did it
and
take me?
you
I started YouTube in 2014, and it took me, I think, 4 years to find a style of video and a type of content that I was happy making
wow.
consistently. And then after that, it was like, okay, yeah, this is what fits me. Like this is the type of stuff I want to do,
Right. Yeah. Nice.
and it just works. Like now, obviously,
Excellent.
I've kind of gotten into a groove with it,
Nice.
where I'm like, yeah, this is the content that
Hmm.
works for me. It's the type of content I enjoy doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, especially because
Yeah.
mine
It.
entirely evolves around social interaction. It also
Hmm.
forces me to not just, sit here alone and do nothing. It forces me to like, okay, yeah, I need to talk to people and stuff like that. Okay, like I can't do everything all
Yeah.
by myself. And it
Right.
it's definitely been fun doing it this long and still keeping it going,
Good.
even after like so much like certain amounts of like crap that's
Hmm.
been like thrown my way
Yeah.
about it. I'm like, no, this is what I enjoy, and I'm gonna keep doing it.
Hmm.
So yeah, I always try and
Oh,
explain
sure.
to people that it's kind
Right.
of it's kind of therapeutic for me to like make content.
That's awesome.
I
You've
find
been
it
doing it like 5 years?
6 now, yeah. Yeah, like 6 years now I've been doing this. And I'm always
Hmm.
trying to like say to people, it's very therapeutic for me because I feel like in my real kind of like out
Wow.
in the world,
Amazing.
I'm like, I don't know, people are like, people can look at
Yeah.
me and judge me based on looks, but this is
They
kind
say
of
that
a
at
free
7
space.
years of practice, you become a master.
I think I can still do more after seven
Right.
years. I think I'll still be learning.
I hope so.
I
Exactly. Yeah.
I hope I don't
Yeah.
plateau in like the next
You're
year.
not going to make the same thing you made 4 years ago.
Oh no, definitely. It's so much better now.
No.
Oh man.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. Now, like the stuff that used to take you like, maybe several hours to execute would only take a few minutes now because you've
Yeah.
mastered
Yeah, definitely.
it.
And I'm gonna
Sure.
say
Yeah,
that
it's all creativity.
hmm I'm gonna say that kind of roundabout
It's
here
all just different
is
forms of art.
yeah. I'm gonna say that kind of roundabout here is like a kind of good place to end off. I'm gonna say this is like a pretty good place to stop the podcast. So thank you for joining me and allowing me to interview you.
This has been so fun.
I'm glad you enjoyed your time
Anytime, my
on the
my friend.
podcast.
Anytime, Roscoe. This has been really awesome to chat with you and learn about your process and share
hmm
mine.
Yeah, it's been a good it's good for me to learn because I love learning about people. So this doing interviews is like a good way to do that.
Yeah, yeah. Anytime we can collab, I'm always happy to.
I'd be happy to collab. Like not an issue. You have any ideas? Throw them my way.
Oh,
Okay, and I would also like to thank all of
yeah. All
you
right.
for
Cool.
listening to the podcast. This is what the fifth episode, so we're starting to get into a bit of a groove with it. Starting to get there,
Oh
and
yeah.
yeah. So I'd like to just remember to like the video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Only if you enjoyed. And I'll see you all next time. I'll leave Babymates Twitch in the description below. You definitely need to check her out. Amazing streamer. And I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.